What's up, Speak For Yourself listeners? It's your boy Shay Sharp, co-host of FS1's Undisputed. I wanted to tell you about my new podcast, Club Shay Shay, where we always do something before two something. Each week, I sit down with a guest for a drink and conversation, and as host and proprietor of Club Shay Shay, I've welcomed in esteemed guests such as Snoop Dogg, Floyd Money Mayweather, LeVar Ball, Isaiah Thomas, just to mention a few. Whether I'm talking to an athlete, a musician, an actor, or a lifelong friend, Club Shay Shay is a place where people share inspiring and motivational stories about their journeys to prominence. The new episode drops every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to Club Shay Shay now and make sure you never miss a new episode. Now, back to Speak For Yourself.
Welcome to Speak For Yourself. Marcel Swiley, Emmanuel Acho. Obviously, our thoughts and prayers go out to Tiger Woods and his family in this moment. How you doing, brother?
Tough news. Excited to, not excited, I guess, but need to hear the details. Hoping Tiger's okay.
Yeah. Echo those sentiments right there. Let's get to our top story, brought to you by Popeye's Chicken Sandwich. And the Lakers, who have now dropped 4 out of 5 games since Anthony Davis re-aggravated his leg injury. And last night's loss comes in overtime to the streaking Wizards. Who says that? LeBron James had 31 points and was a rebound away from a triple-double, but he also had 8 turnovers and missed a free throw late in the game that could have sealed a win for L.A. So, Acho, is it panic time for LeBron's Lakers?
Big dog, you know me. Since I got to the show, I've been riding for the Lakers. Not because I ride for the Lakers, but I ride for LeBron James.
No, just because you moved to L.A.
No,
and
that's
also...
not it. That is not it.
Oh, okay.
He was in Cleveland, your boy was riding for the Cavs. He went to Miami, your boy rode for the Heat. Where LeBron goes, I go. Where he stays, I will stay. I'm a LeBron stan. I'm a LeBron fan. But it's time to panic, man. And if you've been keeping up with the Lakers, at this point in time, you got to pump the brakes a little bit. I was ignorant the first time. They lost to the Nets, not a big deal. Nets is a squad, right? I ain't tripping. They lost to the Heat. Not a big deal. He went to the finals last year. Let LeBron James find his way. But when you lose to the 11 and 17 Wizards, it's a big deal. And it's not just that you lost. It's how you lost. So, without AD, they have no rim protector. I'm sitting here like, Dwight, like you would do. JaVale. Like, they have no rim protector. Right. Bradley Beal was getting to the cup at will. When Kyrie was doing it, I was like, yeah, that's Kyrie. Kyrie's one of the best finishers the game has ever seen at the rim. Bradley Beal is a dog. We know that. All-star starter. But he was just getting to the cup at will. Russ getting to the cup at will. I was like, is anybody going to do something? So is it time to panic? That's the first reason why it's time to panic. Because now you just lost to a terrible Wizards team. The other reason it's time to panic, Frank Vogel.
Already? He just won a championship.
You know me. You know me.
I do know you.
I always doubt coaches when they coach LeBron. Because when you coach LeBron, of course you're getting to the finals. But can you coach when you really got to coach? Now that AD and LeBron ain't there, it's really time to see Frank Vogel. What are you made of? And Sel, how come your boy, Trez, second on the team in scoring yesterday,
I told you about Trez.
but only played the 7th most minutes? You got 26 points in 23 minutes, but we didn't see you in crunch time. Frank Vogel, make it make sense. I knew Frank Vogel couldn't make it make sense because unlike y'all, I stayed up for the post-game interviews. That's when you hear all you need to hear. Bro, I'm sitting up for an hour after the game, 10 o'clock Pacific time, just sitting there. Yeah, it was. It was a lonely snow.
You should have swiped right. Get your mind right.
I'm sitting there just listening to Kuzma. I'm listening to KCP. Then I hear Frank Vogel. And the interviewer asked, Frank Vogel, did you have any reason why you didn't play Trez? Yeah, I did. He snapped back. I was like, uh-oh. They poured salt in a wound. Yeah. So Frank Vogel, I'm curious about his decision-making. And lastly, LeBron ain't got no help. I thought, okay, maybe KCP would turn around. Maybe Kuz, that's the guy. Kuzma will be the one. LeBron ain't got no help, bruh. So for them 3 reasons, I am panicked.
And I'm not panicking, which is surprising to many out there, but I'm not going to panic in this situation. You just said it. They're not a full squad, so there's not going to be a full panic. There's going to be some worry, some concern. There's going to be some anxiety. But panic? One, if you panic, you ain't got time to give me, 3-4 minutes you just did. You out the door if you panicking, if you're a Laker fan right now. What are we going to do? You know what you're going to do. Sit still, be relaxed, and say, AD's coming back, Schroeder's coming back. Then we'll fix this situation. Let me tell you about the Lakers, because I've done my homework on the Lakers. People think I'm a hater, but I'm actually a lover of the Lakers, as I used to have to cover them for my old network, the 4 letters, every single day. So I learned to love this team. It's ups and downs. Now, I love the Clippers more, but still, I understand what the Lakers are going through. They're going through a 3-game losing streak. I wonder if the Lakers have done that any time in recent history. Last year, not only did they have 1 3-game losing streak, they had 2 3-game losing streaks. Did you panic? Did you panic? Because if you panicked, you ran away from something great that was brewing with the Los Angeles Lakers. Oh, you talking about LeBron? Since you're a LeBron stan, you go everywhere he goes. Did you go to Cleveland when he had that 3-game losing streak?
There were several.
In 2015, 2016. What about when he was with the Heat? Remember those? Remember he had a 3-game losing streak twice in 2011, 2012? My point is this. When you don't have it all, you can't sit there and put it together like every piece is there for the puzzle. You look at this situation, LeBron's in the building. LeBron is LeBron. Now, 36 years old, you don't want to tax him right now. And this is an interesting computation you have to make if you're Frank Vogel. Why is Frank Vogel stressed? Is because he was pacing LeBron the way he wanted to pace LeBron. And then AD goes down, Schroeder goes down, and he realizes, damn it, in the coast phase, the middle phase of the race, track and field, I got to accelerate. LeBron, hey, LeBron, I hate to come to you with this request, sir, but can you play a little harder? And LeBron has to push back and say, I can't play much harder because the defenses are stacked against me now. Why? Because no AD on the court. So this is just a situation. Sometimes you just got to ride the tide, man. You just got to go through the rough patches. And I think the Lakers will be fine once they come out of this.
But, Sel, the issue is, and I put this out on Twitter today, what is the future cost of present decisions? Right? Like, that's why I'm also panicked. Because I'm trying to weigh what's the future cost of Frank Vogel's present decisions. We're going to get into it more later, but present decisions. LeBron James has played 4 games in the month of February over 40 minutes. Present decision. LeBron James in the month of February leads the NBA in minutes played. Present decision. LeBron James all season is 3rd in minutes played behind Julius Randle and Van Fleet. 2 26-year-olds. LeBron James is 35. What is going to be the future cost of these present decisions? So I'm not just panicking because of what I seen yesterday. A one-off loss to a Wizards team, I'd be like, it happens. Blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. But
anybody ever met a blind squirrel?
I haven't. I feel bad, right?
And if especially you assuming he got a nut. Like, he ain't find no nut.
Can squirrels get cataracts? Or, I don't know. But nonetheless, if it's a one-off loss to the Wizards, I'd be like, not a big deal. But Sel, you have to look at how they're losing. You lose to the Nets. Excusable. You lose to the Heat. Then you lose to the Wizards. Now it's a compilation of reasons and issues why you should panic. The last thing I'm going to leave you with is this. It's full screen real quick. Because the present cost, the future cost, present decisions. Let's talk about the present. LeBron James. January, he was shooting 43% from 3. February, he was shooting 23% from 3. Now in February, the last 5 games since AD's been out, 15% from 3. That's not a coincidence. What they say when you got tired legs, your jump shots start to fall short. What happened with 8 seconds left? LeBron James at the free throw line last night. LeBron, if you just make that free throw off your and one, y'all probably win that game in regulation. But what happened to the free throw? Came up short.
That's LeBron at the free throw line. What you mean?
Sure.
Well, it act like LeBron had those mental issues at the free throw line for several years.
But it's how you miss.
What did Kyrie say? Is that y'all best free throw shooter up there when he yanked one? It's not about your tired legs. How many minutes is LeBron averaging this year? 35. I wonder what he averaged last year. Oh, same, 34.6, round up. What about the year before? 35. Like, it's not a minutes conversation. It's about what is he seeing when he's out there on the court, which is different. And I'm looking at LeBron, and LeBron has been through these rigors before. I just told you how he's been on losing streaks before and still found himself as a champion. But let's go deeper than that. Are you an outcast? Let's talk about the last 5 NBA champions that had at least 1 3-game losing streak. Can you believe the Lakers had 2 last year? Yeah, I told you about that. What about the Raptors? Yeah, they had 1. What about the Warriors? Yep. Yep. Cavs? Yep. Come on, man. The last time a team won a championship without going through this rough patch, you got to go back to 2014, 2015. So I'm looking at the Lakers like they got to ride the waves. Now, I can easily make an argument that LeBron is struggling right now, in part because of what the defenses are showing him, in part because now he has to make the transition. His clutch right now is stuck, it's burning. He's like, I got to go from third gear to sixth gear because no AD. And he is in that transitional phase right now. His numbers are down in terms of this losing streak and losing 4 out of 5. But panic to me means we got to go back to the whiteboard. Panic to me means where's training camp's playbook? Let's reassess that. That's not what these Lakers are. All they need to do is simply say, AD, you all right? Schroeder, you all right? We good.
The reason I agree with you, I agree with you on your definition of panic. Yeah. I disagree with you on the Lakers' resolve. They do have to go back to the whiteboard. Because if you look at it, they have no rim protectors right now. Don't be surprised if the Lakers go and acquire a rim protector while AD is gone.
Well, that's a blessing in disguise.
When you look at the construction of their current roster without AD, I don't think they can get it done. And now it's no longer opinion. Just watch how they've lost the games. Watch their inability to get a stop. Watch their inability to protect the rim. When I look at the construction of their roster, particularly now with Schroeder out, who else can create a shot outside of LeBron? We sit here and hope and pray and wait for Kuzma to get hot. Maybe he might get hot. When Montrez was hot and gave you 26 and 23, he got pulled because Frank Vogel was like, we wanted more of a three-point presence out there. So I'm panicked because of what you said. It's like the Lakers do got to go back to the whiteboard. LeBron told us 2 days ago, LeBron said, I just have to figure out how I'm going to adjust. Then after watching the game yesterday, I'm like, no, it's in desperation that the Lakers need to adjust. And I'm just listening to the takes of players that have been there before. Big Shot Bob in the post-game show, he was like, look, man, Lakers missed White right now. They missed JaVale right now. I go back and I look at the statistics. I'm like, yeah, they had nobody there to protect it. You got to panic at this point.
Dog, have you ever had a panic attack?
I haven't, actually.
You haven't, right? You're 30, right? Okay, I said the same thing at 30. No lie. About a week and a half ago, I had my first panic attack. Now, I ain't gonna lie. I go to the therapist and everything, and, you know, I'm big into mental health and mental health issues. I used to look at people who had panic attacks sideways. I'd be like, dog, what's wrong with you? Like, you okay? Like, your mind just took you to a place where you felt the definition of panic, uncontrollable fear or anxiety. I'll tell you my story later. But by the definition, this is not an uncontrollable fear or anxiety the Lakers should have about their situation. If they were fully loaded, then you got a problem because you're like, what's the solution? But the solution is in a 6'10" dude who's propped up on ice right now, and Schroeder, who spells his name wrong. I don't know. I can never say that dude's name right. Here's the thing. Let me tell you about my panic attack. Okay, I told you my son, we were playing roly-poly. So I played it with my daughter. Now, my daughter's damn near my son's size, but she's smaller, and I'm doing roly-poly, I'm fine. I get MJ. I remember when I played with my dad, and I used to whip my daddy's ass. Like, you know, I was a big kid. My daddy frail. My daddy 180. So I used to come at my daddy fast. But I thought I had more runway because, you know, I'm Marcellus. I play in the NFL. It's going to be to that boy 15 before he gets the best of me. 5. Dog, we roly-polying, and he hit me. My neck messed up. That's why my neck been messed up for a week and a half. The night, I ain't tell you this because we ain't that close yet. But the night it happened, I woke up at 12:30 in the morning. And I was like, I stood up and I couldn't breathe. I sat back down. I said, yo, I'm having a panic attack because I couldn't move my neck. Then I started to think, if you can't move the neck, maybe you broke your neck. And if you broke your neck, and then all of a sudden there's it. But then I started to realize I'm okay. Because if I could think through all these issues, if I could move through all these issues, maybe it's not an issue. The Lakers are looking at this. You love where I went. I went there. The Lakers know what the answer is. They know where the medicine is. They know where the fix is.
But the fix lies in an unknown, and that's why they should panic.
AD's an unknown.
His health is an unknown. We said it. Think about it, big dog. KD had a calf. Just a calf, not a big deal. Had some calf tightness. KD came back from calf tightness. Pop. Achilles. Right now, AD has tendinitis, depending on if you ask Dr. Wiley or an actual doctor. KD got a little tendon issue, but we know right now that's nothing to play with. Let me give you my own story because it's story time on Speak for Yourself. I'm playing for the Eagles. We're playing against the Rams. They run a reverse. I read the reverse, Sal. It's time for me to go make a highlight.
You already know.
It's my 1 year start, and I was like, it's time to do the dang thing. I bob and weave offensive lineman. I dive for the tackle. I missed the tackle with my left hand. I dive out. Next thing you know, I'm like,
oh no, it got the wind knocked out of you. Say it.
I could not breathe.
Say it.
At that point in time, I'm laying on the field. My dog, the backup linebacker, time walks on the field. All I hear is this. I hear the crowd. I hear him say, "Get up, Superman." I'm like, this is what happened. I'm literally thinking they're going to have to puncture my lung, put a straw in me, and for the rest of my life, I'm going to have to breathe through a straw. While I'm laying on the field, true story. I'm literally there like, I'll never be able to breathe again. I'm like, and I couldn't breathe. Finally, the doctor was like, Acho, just relax. Slowly but surely, if you've never had the wind knocked out of you, I'm happy for you. Slowly but surely, you start to be able to breathe. Why do I say that?
The worst.
Because right now, the Lakers don't know how this is going to play out. I don't. As a Lakers fan, I'm a LeBron fan, and I've seen how it's always played out for LeBron. But right now, the Lakers don't know, are they going to be able to catch their breath? Are they going to be able to catch AD? Are they going to be able to protect the rim? So I was panicking like you were panicking. Now, you had the foresight to realize you're going to be good. I didn't have that foresight until I finally was able to breathe, but the Lakers got to finally get a win, Sel, because as soon as you get that first bit of oxygen, as soon as I said, I was like, okay, it's coming.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to be all right.
Yes, and also someone's presence calmed you down.
Correct.
LeBron James. Yo, I don't give a damn how many games we lose in a row. If we're not out of playoff contention, I look at Dr. LeBron James and say, oh, you got the medicine to fix this situation. AD is going to return. Our stories are parallels because our minds took us somewhere different than reality. In reality, you got the wind knocked out of you. It's happened to me before. It is weak. It's not even painful. It's just like scary. It's discouraging. It's like, yo, I'm closer to death than I like to be because I can't breathe.
Much closer.
Right. But then someone can talk to you. Someone can be there in the presence that makes you understand, oh, I'm fine. That's what his number is, 23. LeBron James. Lakers are fine. Coming up at the top of the hour, could Russell Wilson really get traded by Seattle? Did I just ask that? We'll tell you if the Seahawks will be crazy to consider it. But first, speaking of potential trades, the Texans do not want to deal Deshaun Watson. Nope. But we'll tell you if it would be a mistake to keep him. That's next on Speak for Yourself. Woo! Hey, Speak for Yourself listeners. I wanted to tell you about our brand new Fox Sports app and website, foxsports.com. Reimagined for the modern sports fan. Go ahead, download the new app now. You don't even have to pause this episode. Every day on the new app and website, you'll see the top stories in sports, plus a rich world of written content, videos, social media, and analytics to give you a 360-degree view of the most important stories of the day. Streaming live TV has never been so easy or elegant. Every Fox Sports game, including all pregame and postgame shows, are just one click away. For the extra invested fan, we also go deep with real-time wagering lines, trending prop bets, win probability, and key player projections. So download the new Fox Sports app or visit www.foxsports.com.
Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. Big-name quarterbacks have switched teams this offseason, but not Deshaun Watson, even though he demanded a trade from the Texans. Now, Peter King says Houston has no interest in trading the face of their franchise. He added at least 2 teams have made offers, but the Texans have not even given them any feedback for a potential deal. So, Marcellus, would the Texans be making a mistake by trying to keep Deshaun Watson?
No mistake at all. You know what you love. You know what you got. You know how rare it is to find a Deshaun Watson, a superstar, may I say. I mean, now I know in my group text when I write Deshaun, I ain't got to write Jackson anymore. And I know how to spell, and I know they spell differently. People know Deshaun is starting to get noticed by one name. Deshaun's special, bro. So, look, he's too rare to say, oh, I love you, but I'm going to let you go. And let's talk about how the journey looks to find a Deshaun Watson through the draft, through free agency, whatever ways that you find a special quarterback. The road to the riches is full of counterfeit, bruh. And I'm talking about guys that look the part, think they're the part, and just are not the part. And Deshaun Watson has checked every single box that you desire. So when I'm searching for Deshaun Watson, I know how different that experience could look if I don't get what I want. And that's Deshaun Watson. I found him. I got him. And now if I'm Cal McNair, I'm the Houston Texans, I'm Nick Caserio, I'm all these people in the organization, Deshaun wants out. And I hear you, but I'm not letting you go. You ever been in that relationship? Girl, we ain't breaking up. That's your feelings over there. Over here, I'm holding on to you. But Cal McNair really has to be thinking, you need my help to hurt me? Like, you need my help to hurt me. Like, I'm not letting you go. And then on top of that, helping you hurt me. So I don't know where Deshaun Watson's going other than the Houston Texans. But trust me, the reason why they're not responding to other teams' trade proposals, the reason why they're saying and they're being adamant about it, Deshaun Watson's not available for trade, is because they're in love with Deshaun Watson. And who wouldn't? The Nuggets support it, the numbers support it, but beyond that, the logic supports it. Deshaun Watson 4 or 5 months ago was happy to be in Houston, smiling to be in Houston, crying that he was in Houston, committed to Houston. Now, 5 months later, we're in a different place. If I'm Cal McNair, I'm kind of thinking, let's let another 5 months go by, let this thing smooth over. Maybe he will have a change of heart once again. But I'm not letting a superstar franchise quarterback go.
Man, the Texans would be making a mistake, Sel, and I'm going to start with the Wileyism. One of the greatest Wileyisms that I have ever heard, and it simply read, you cannot avoid war, only delay it. That was a bar when you said that.
You kind of remixed it.
Did I ruin it?
You did you.
Can I hear the Wileyism?
Oh, okay. War can't be avoided, just postponed.
I said the same thing.
I mean, you did, but
I mean, thing. Look, when I look at it as this,
I'm
man.
Dr. Dre.
I'll be Eminem. The Texans, big dog, all they can do is postpone it. All they can do is delay this beef with Deshaun Watson because it can't be avoided.
How?
How it can't be avoided? Deshaun Watson has already told y'all where he stands. He's like, look, I don't want to be here. It started with the whisper. It started with the murmur. Then it became an echo. And now it is a roaring noise of silence.
Yeah, that's real.
That's a roaring noise of silence. Removed him from his profile pages. Removed the Texans from his bio. So what are you going to try to do? Keep Deshaun Watson there against his will? Must I remind you how this has played out? Earl Thomas, probably the greatest Seahawk of this generation. Probably inarguably the greatest Seahawk. He's a first ballot even before Russell Wilson is a first ballot.
Preach.
Look at Pro Bowls and look at all pros.
Preach.
Remember how Earl Thomas left Seattle? The same Earl Thomas? Like that. That's how Earl left Seattle.
Where you at now?
Let's talk about how Jalen Ramsey left Jacksonville. Jalen Ramsey, one of the best cornerbacks of this generation. He leaves Jacksonville beefing with his head coach, Doug Marrone, on the sideline. They're throwing tantrums back and forth. There they go. There they go. There they go. Is that what y'all want? Houston, now. I'm not saying Deshaun Watson is that kind of guy.
No,
that's not what I'm sitting here and saying. I'm not saying that. But I also, from what we've seen of Jalen Ramsey lately, Jalen Ramsey ain't that kind of guy.
Golden Tate doesn't. Let me stop.
Yeah, like that was brought out of these kind of dudes based on certain situations they don't want to be in. So as I look at it, Texans, how y'all think this gonna play out? We just gonna sit here and hopefully Deshaun Watson gets happy, even though he's gotten more and more upset. He wasn't crying tears because he was happy to be in Houston. He was crying tears over $156 million or whatever contract he got. Those were the tears he was crying. I don't think he was ever in love with Houston. He was in love with that contract, big dog. Huge mistake the Texans would be making.
You took me some places. Let's see where we'll go. All those examples, they wanted to go somewhere else to go get the big money. The big money.
Or they wanted it to stay there. Or wanted a new contract.
He wanted a new contract there. Yeah, you're right. They all have the same agent. Shout out to David. Respect to that. So maybe this is the game plan. However, when you already have the money, let me tell you, when I was broke, I was a little crazier. I told you I was a thief growing up, right? Like, dog, I didn't stop stealing until I was like 17, until I got caught. High school, senior year. And then the police came and they said, look, we could take you or we could give you to your principal. And the principal vouched for me, thankfully. And I stopped stealing in that moment. That's real talk. Like, I had stop thief me everywhere I went, but I stopped then because I was broke. Now, it's no validation and no justification to steal, but that was my mindset. That was my justification. But now, I dare you to tell me to go steal something. Man, I got it. I ain't nothing. And look, when Deshaun Watson's pockets are up here, like, what? And somebody gonna say, hey, man, I want you to risk some of that. It's not the same mindset, bro. He's in a different place. It's gonna be interesting when this gets to the rub, the fire. What's he gonna do? When's that? April 29th. When's that? Draft time. We'll see really what you're gonna do. Are you gonna act like those pockets are fat, or are you gonna act like they're empty? Here's the thing about it. How does Deshaun Watson act out? That's my thing. Knowing who he is in character, knowing who he is in perception, And then watching what those other guys have went through, what is Deshaun Watson going to do practically to scare this organization from still cutting those checks and making sure he is their franchise quarterback? What can he do? That's my only conversation I really want to hear is what are your steps to force their hand? Because last time I checked, they are not going to help you hurt them.
But so let's go somewhere, big dog. You are far more relationally conscious and experienced than I am.
What the hell are you talking about?
You are.
You about to say something bad. Yeah, you are. Relationally.
I'm going to defer to you as far as relationships.
Okay.
But in my limited experience in relationships, I know this much.
It's all your fault, too.
In the past, I was trying to end a relationship, big dog, and couldn't get out of it. Couldn't get out. Like, oh, no, well, let's stay in this relationship. No, I'm good. No, I'll stay in this relationship. No, I'm good. No, I'll stay in this relationship.
Stalker.
I want out.
Stalker.
See, the more they tried to cling to, the more aggressive I had to get.
Great point.
So now I look like the prick. Now I look like the bad guy. Now I look like the jerk because at first I just want to do this peacefully. I just want to do this amicably. Like, let's just go different directions. You'll be better off. I'll be better off.
They tried that.
But
I like that.
You keep holding on tight. Now I got to get off me.
Yeah.
What do y'all want Deshaun to do, Sal? You want him to act like James Harden? You want him to go up to the podium and just completely disrespect the franchise and to a degree the city? Like, what do you want what do you want Deshaun Watson to do? If I look at it, it can be a win-win. You got a new head coach. You got new management. You need to build a new culture. J.J. Watt is no longer there.
Yeah.
The cultural icon is now exclusively Deshaun Watson. But hint, America, culture is always run through a conduit in the locker room. The Patriot way was run through the conduit of Tom Brady. So the culture that the coaches are going to create in Houston has to move through a conduit in the locker room. If Deshaun Watson does not want to be that conduit, then the culture will never be created. So you might as well just find somebody else, use somebody else, establish your culture, and do what you got to do in Houston without Deshaun.
You're on fire now, and you keep bringing her up. I think you still want her. You just trying to send out them bat signals. You ain't slick.
Multiple different people.
Really? Damn, you break up with everybody like that? Choke. Here we go. What is Deshaun going to do? Get out of shape? James Harden? What are you going to do? Throw passes in the ninth row? I love to hear people smoke. I love it, dog. You know I don't fight. I will not fight. People all the time try to punk me because I won't fight. And I'm still not a punk. It's like, I'm not fighting you. However, I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm going to twist those words around you and choke you with them. I'm going to twist the words around you and choke you with them. The hell can Deshaun Watson do when he got $156 million? Sit out? Okay. Then they start taxing you. Then you start looking like, damn, I had $156 million in this alternate universe I used to live in. But now, because I'm not happy here, that's dropped down. That continues to drop down. Look, I'm not saying he can't play this all the way through and flex, but boy, I haven't seen many do that flex, especially in the game of football.
But here's the question then, Sal. Who wins in that outcome?
Oh, I can tell you.
In the outcome of Deshaun Watson sits out and now the Texans are finding him, nobody wins when the family feuds. So the Texans not winning.
You think
because your
Deshaun's
star
not gonna
quarterback
play?
sitting getting fined. Deshaun's not winning because he's getting fined. And then when he shows back up, if he shows back up, operative word there being if, he ain't finna be happy. Why ain't he gonna be happy? Because I just finished getting taxed by y'all because I wanted to go. Y'all didn't want to let me leave, and now y'all finding me for being here. Make it make sense.
I will make it make sense. They went 4-12. You think Deshaun was happy going 4-12? No. Off season, you get to recoup, you get to think about it, you get to reflect, and all of a sudden now you have a change of heart. But going through 4-12, hell, you know what? You weren't happy. And you just so happened to lead the league in passing yards, unhappily. You led the league in yards per attempt, unhappily. Oh, my God. Stay unhappy, Deshaun, if I'm the Texans. Because let me tell you one thing about culture. And shout out to Ben Horowitz, the famous VC, Columbia alum, who talks about what culture really is. It's not mantras on the locker room.
Exactly right.
It's what's rewarded. It's what's rewarded. Deshaun Watson is building a positive culture because he was rewarded for great play. Now, even if he's unhappy, I don't think he's going to poison the well because he didn't poison the well when they went 4-12. My last point is this. Remember this when we're talking intangibles. Football is a great game of skill and a greater game of will. Deshaun Watson has too high a character to go out there and willingly now not want to contribute to his own success. I know he was unhappy last year and he balled out. He might have to do that again. Coming up, Cam Newton says there's no way 32 quarterbacks are better than him. Yeah. We'll tell you if his comments are justified. That's next. Don't speak for yourself.
Hey, Speak for Yourself listeners. It's Charlotte Wilder here to tell you about my new podcast with Mark Titus called the People's Sports Podcast. It comes out every Thursday, and Mark and I take one of the big stories of the week, and then we go off on tangents you never saw coming. This might mean that we start talking about the Dodgers winning the World Series and end up wondering if Knicks fans deserve happiness. Or begin with LeBron's greatness and end up drafting our ultimate beer league softball team made up of old athletes. Whatever it is, the only rule of the show is that it has to be fun and funny, because these days we can all use as many laughs as we can get. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts and come down weird sports rabbit holes with us. We can't wait to have you. Now, back to Speak for Yourself.
Here's the latest on today's breaking news. Tiger Woods was injured this morning in a single car accident here in Los Angeles and had to be extricated from his vehicle using the jaws of life. Tiger's agent, Mark Steinberg, issued a statement saying the golf legend suffered multiple leg injuries and is currently in surgery. Our thoughts and prayers are with Tiger. We wish him the best. Let's move to the NFL. Cam Newton says he was, quote, lost, thinking too much, and stagnant for 2 weeks after testing positive for COVID last season. Cam's first season in New England did not go as planned, but the former MVP boldly dismissed any talk of retirement on our Brandon Marshall's I Am Athlete podcast. Take a listen.
Bro, I hear all that, bro. Yeah. Like, I ain't never been a favorite. Going into last year, is he healthy? I just want to finish healthy. Now it's like if I'm able to learn his system, like, come on, bro, I can't go out like that. My pride won't even allow me to do that. And you could talk about this, you could talk about that, you could talk about whatever. Listen, bro, there's not 32 guys better than me. Put it like that. So you're asking me, like, bro, I'm not 32.
That was fire.
You gotta love dudes instigating. So where you at?
So where you at? Yeah. Son, somebody. Is Cam justified in saying there aren't 32 guys better than him?
He is, Sel. He is. And I had to really try to figure this question out. I had to remove my bias because I like Cam, but I also watched the tape. So is he justified? He is, Marcel. So let me do the calculations to answer the question for Brandon Marshall. Brandon Marshall said, hey, so where you at then, Cam? Where you at? Where you at?
Where you at?
Since 2016, the last 5 years, 29 quarterbacks have thrown for 25 passing touchdowns. Since 2016, 28 quarterbacks have a 95-plus passer rating, and Cam Newton does it. Since 2015, 27 quarterbacks have 4,200 total yards, and Cam Newton does it. So is Cam Newton the 32nd worst? No. But Marcel, he's somewhere around 30.
Man, come on, man. Damn, with friends like you, who needs an enemy?
He's a fact. I'm just saying.
Like, you do that for?
You asked me if he's justified. He's justified. He's not the 32nd.
What, he's 31 and a half?
I mean, he's somewhere around 30. Now, look, Sal.
32 is around 30.
I love Cam Newton.
Oh,
I'm going to say it with my chest.
Stop saying that and then writing up he's 30.
I'm trying to be honest with America, man. I just got this job.
He lied.
He's justified in his own head.
Oh, God.
He is. Like, Cam Newton, I don't think he is the 32nd worst quarterback. But as I look at last season, who were the bottom 3 quarterbacks if you're not going to count Cam Newton?
Carson Wentz.
You have Sam Darnold.
All right, Baker Mayfield. Okay, go.
I hate you. You got Sam Darnold. Yeah. You got Drew Lock. You got Daniel Jones. I'm looking by passer rating. Sam Darnold, Drew Lock, Daniel Jones. But here's the kicker. Sam Darnold, 23. Drew Lock, 24. Daniel Jones, 23. So if you're just telling me, hey, for one game, who you want, Cam Newton or one of those 3, I might take Cam Newton for that.
You might or you will?
I might. It depends. Like Drew Lock be going crazy and he be rapping on the sidelines. I might take Cam Newton for that one
Gift
game.
rapping the ball the other team.
But I'm factoring in the future.
Oh, God.
So is he the 32nd best right now, present? No. But when you take into account future value, I understand why there would be questions.
Man, are you finished or are you done?
I'm done.
Because goodness, that was mean. Oh, God.
Well, it was honest.
It wasn't honest.
How was it not?
Because
Where was the lie?
It was confirmation bias. It's you love Cam Newton, but you don't like him as a quarterback anymore. Being real. I listen. Who hasn't been in that relationship? Girl, you know I love you. However, that's how you are with Cam Newton right now. Y'all break it up. It's okay. I'm still in love with Cam Newton and in like with him. I like Cam Newton's game. He went to an impossible situation. I'm not going to keep boring y'all with that, but remind you, he was picked up late June, July, goes to a system that's 20 years old, built for one man, built by that one man with coordinators, Charlie Weiss and Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick. And then Cam Newton started the season off a little faster than we expected. Being real, knowing what the expectations were for this team, which was trash, Cam Newton started off 2-1, averaging 238 passing yards a game. That puts him better than Ryan Tannehill, right there with him, and better than Baker Mayfield. But you love and like Baker Mayfield.
Colin?
Colin? Don't go there.
You ain't pointing to me.
Now. COVID hits him, wrecks him. The world doesn't stop, brother. The world keeps turning, and the playbook kept churning. And Cam comes back, and he's a little out of sorts. He admits that, but he ain't 32. He's not even 30. I give you this. If you're in any category better than Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, and Lamar Jackson, are you 32?
Depending on the category, yes.
Completion percentage. That's major. That's up there for us. Don't look at your face right now. Look at your face. Okay. If you're better than, let's just say, Jared Goff, Ben Roethlisberger, Carson Wentz, in any category, some of them are crumbs. I don't know. Let me rewind. No Carson Wentz. Now, point is, he's 20th in yards per attempt. Another major category to us. What about passer rating? Because we give a damn about passer rating. Nick Foles, Daniel Jones, Alex Smith, Drew Lock, Dwayne Haskins, Carson Wentz, Sam Darnold. Now, that's a mixed pot of gumbo right there. But let me tell y'all about Sam Darnold. He's supposed to be a starter next year. Depends on how the draft looks.
Of course.
Let's talk about Carson Wentz. Will be a starter next year. Dwayne Haskins, probably a starter, maybe in Pittsburgh. Depends on the contract situation with Roethlisberger. Drew Lock. That's another starter. Cam Newton is better than all of those guys already. Alex Smith, I ain't done with you. Alex Smith, definitely a starter.
Not definitely. Alex Smith, they trying to figure him out. I can't give you that one. I can't give you that one. I give you the others.
But you love him and like him. Okay, Daniel Jones. The dog. The only one who's not starting next year is Nick Foles, and that's because of age more than anything. The point is, if you're better than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 starters, why in the hell are you ranking them 32?
I love where you go. Let's take some things into account. You're a brilliant man, so you can do so. We have to talk about future value. Ooh. Everybody you said on that list who I agree with. The only person I didn't agree with is Alex Smith, because I don't think the Washington football team has committed to him yet. Everybody you said on that list is age 27 or younger right now. Everybody on that list, 27 or younger. That's what matters, Sel. If it was just one game, just one season maybe, and I'm not invested in the future, then maybe you might go with a Cam Newton. But remember, Cam Newton isn't good enough to just bet on for one season. Like, Cam isn't Tom Brady. Ooh. Cam's not even at this junction in time. He doesn't have the perception of Phillip Rivers.
Who is Tom Brady?
Cam Newton isn't exactly. Ain't nobody. But like, Cam Newton isn't good enough to mortgage your future for the present.
Oh, my
And that's what you would be doing with the Cam Newton. He's not the future of your franchise at quarterback. He may be the present. But now you got to weigh the decision. Do I want to risk factoring my future for the present? Same decision the Steelers are in right now. Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger will be a better starter next year, more than likely, than anybody the Steelers will put in. But going forward, Ben Roethlisberger won't be. So you say, you know what? I'm going to risk my present for greater success in the future. It's the same thing with Cam, big dog. You just got to get to seeing it that way. It's a matter of Cam is good. He's a top 32 right now.
Yeah.
But when you factor in your future, I see why you wouldn't run the risk.
That was an eloquent way of having ageism in your life. And you're going to write an uncomfortable book about ageism?
First off, I like older women, so I can't be ageist. Okay, I can't be ageist.
Well, that is ageist against younger women. See how you act? You even understand your issues. Oprah, get this boy. Let me tell you this. Man, you got these young, sorry quarterbacks just floating like Jack on that birth certificate, Titanic. Oh, it went down, but I'm saved. Why? Because I'm young and sorry. That ain't enough. I run a different NFL prospect system when I look at these guys. Let me tell you about the prospects when I see them. This is how they look. You said Cam Newton, well, your age, that's a problem. Is it a problem for Ryan Tannehill and present future value? Is it a problem for Russell Wilson? both mobile quarterbacks, both going to be 32 next season, and Cam's the same age. So it's not a problem for them, but it's a problem with Cam. So then you have a performance conversation. I get it, because you're like, Cam, you might get injured. But he started 15 games last year. He shut up those people about durability. You said, oh, Cam, I don't know if you can really throw the ball. Look at you. What, you only had 8 passing touchdowns. Excuse me, my dog had the second highest completion percentage and 12 rushing touchdowns on top of a receiving touchdowns. So if you look at 21 total touchdowns, Cam Newton all of a sudden jumps into a different category. He jumps to tied of 21st with passing and rushing touchdowns. That's not 32. Everything you're saying, there's not a category I could see where you can put Cam Newton at 32.
So let's go here real quick. And venture with me, take your passport, because we're going to travel to another conversation.
Let's go.
I think we have to acknowledge the fact that the tread on Cam Newton's tires may have expired more quickly than the tread on other quarterbacks' tires. You're looking at Cam Newton, a 32-year-old quarterback, and saying he's not that old. I understand why you would. He's only 32. For a quarterback, that's not that old.
Right.
But when we look at the quarterbacks who play the game in the nature that Cam Newton does play the game, we see that the tread on their tires expires more expeditiously. Think about it. We see that Robert Griffin, now he got hurt sooner and all that other stuff, but the tread on his excellence, it expired more expeditiously. I played with Mike Vick the very end of his career. The tread on his tires, it expired more expeditiously. I'm looking at Cam Newton's cell, and I'm saying, yes, Cam is 32, but the tread on his tires may expire more expeditiously. You only drive luxury cars. I didn't always drive luxury cars.
Man, I had a Monte Carlo.
I didn't. Unlike you, your boy grew up by more middle-aged humble means. Okay, you grew up humble means. My middle age was more humble. So I had a 4Runner and I also had a Bentley. What I understand is this.
Growing up?
Right, no, as an adult, as a young, when I was in the league. I had a 4Runner, kept me humble, also had a Bentley. What I understand is this. That 4Runner gonna last a long time now.
Yeah, they still.
It's gonna last, still going.
You're like.
The Bentley might not last as long. It'll have higher highs than that 4Runner. But boy, that Bentley might not last as long. We have to get on the same page of this. Cam Newton is 32, but he might be closer to the end than the other quarterbacks because the tread on his tires doesn't last as long. Did he give us better highs? No question, Coach. Gave us an MVP season. He gave us better highs. But I have to look at Cam Newton's 32 kind of like I look at Ben Roethlisberger's 38. I got to look at Cam Newton's 32 kind of like I looked at Phillip Rivers' 37, 38. I can't try to look at Cam Newton the same way as I look at them other cats. I can't look at the Bentley the same way as I look at the 4Runner. It's not going to last as long. So once we get that proper assessment of Cam Newton and where he probably is in his career, it's easier to digest why teams might want to not give him a chance.
You know what's interesting about that take? I loved it, actually. What we're really saying about Cam Newton, and let's not be literal in terms of he's number 32. We know he's not.
Correct.
But in a figurative sense, some general managers will put him that low or close to that because he has now been deemed by performance, by other factors, as a borderline starter. That's where the unemployment line starts.
We might go somewhere.
Yes. That's where the unemployment line starts for quarterbacks in the NFL. And Colin Kaepernick is the symbol and representing what a borderline starter looks like. You can say what you want about Kaepernick and his performance, then you can say what you want about what he's bringing in terms of personality and his focus off the field. Then you combine those, and all of a sudden you got a borderline starter to general managers. And once they see that, all of a sudden, they look at you differently, as you brought up the car example. And it's funny, I got out the luxury car game for 2 reasons. One, it just ain't worth all that. Man, I bought a $400,000 Rolls Royce. Dumb ass dude, me. $200,000. Like,
you bought a new?
Huh? Is there a such thing as old one? No, it's good. Yeah, I did, boy. Pay cash, all ones. But it was ignorant. I ain't gonna lie. I was a dummy for doing it. And I did it for one reason. So at that red light or at that valet, I ain't got to say nothing, and it's been said. Now I'm in a place where I don't want all that attention. At the red light, I don't even want to look at me. I don't play my music loud. Being real, I don't want my car to be yelling at you. Like, it's 2 car seats in the back, and the third one I'm going to pick up. So I don't need all that. And that's where Cam Newton has put himself, unfortunately. And I'm not saying it's justified, but that's the perception.
Of course. Let's pause there. We're going to take our passports, go to this other conversation.
Ooh, look it up.
Marcellus is actually, you just hit the nail on the head. Fans, we need y'all to understand, general managers, owners, they say, What are you worth and what will you cost me?
Yes.
And we not just talking about dollars.
Yes.
What are you worth and what you gonna cost me? And when you talked about Colin Kaepernick or Cam Newton or even Michael Sam, when you talk about players throughout the course of the NFL, which like you might cost an NFL organization or general manager something, that's when they start to question. And what you might cost them might just be an extra question at the podium. Like, it might not actually be no dollars. It might just be like, so what do you think about Colin Kaepernick's stance on that? Yeah. So what do you think about Cam Newton's outfit pregame? It might not even be something that you or I deem expensive. But when you're talking about management, when you're talking about owners that don't like distractions, want to keep everything straight-laced, what are you worth and what will it cost me? And right now, I don't think owners are willing to pay what Cam Newton might cost. Coming up, Russell Wilson has been venting this offseason, but could he really get traded? We'll tell you if the Seahawks would be crazy to consider that. That's next.
Let's head to Seattle, where Russell Wilson was asked a couple of weeks ago if he's available in a trade and said, quote, "That's a Seahawks question." Russ has been doing a lot of venting this offseason, from personnel decisions to getting hit too much. Now there's actually trade speculation. NFL Network reports 1/3 of the league has called Seattle about the possibility of a trade, and teams have the belief the starting point for any serious conversation is 3 first-round draft picks. So, Acho, would the Seahawks be crazy to consider trading Russell Wilson?
They would be crazy. Yeah, they would be, big dog. And here's the difference, because for those of y'all that are watching the Deshaun Watson block versus the Russell Wilson block, my thoughts are different. I don't really think Russ is about that action. Like, not in a disrespectful way, but like, Russ is more, to me, all bark, no bite. And it's genuinely not disrespectful. Russ is he's a businessman. He's a company man. That's who he's always been. First time I met Russell Wilson, 2012, we went to the NFL draft together. We were both at the Senior Bowl, all-star game for college seniors. I showed up like everybody else in sweats, whatever the case may be. Russ shows up in a full suit. So like full suit, I was like, oh, this dude different. I was like, guys, kind of weird. Gets drafted in the 3rd round. So I was like, he was doing too much. Then he becomes Russell Wilson. I was like, okay, no. He wasn't doing too much. That part. So Russ is just, he a businessman, bro. Don't let the GQ shoots fool you. Don't let the swaggy Instagram posts fool you. Russ is a business company man. He knows how to say little things to make people know he's irritated, but he ain't going nowhere. That's not who Russell Wilson is in his DNA. Not if you've known Russell Wilson or watched his career over the years. So, nah, don't trade him. It would be crazy to even consider it. I'll end my first lap like this. Because we have to draw the parallel between Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson. The Texans and Deshaun are in a rebuild. Y'all were 4-12 last year. Y'all were sorry. Y'all are good one year, sorry another year. Good one year, sorry another. Y'all are never great. Y'all are always good to sorry. The Seahawks are consistently good. If I'm not mistaken, they've only missed the playoffs 1 year since Russ has gotten there, and he's going on year 10.
You're right.
So 90% of the time, or 88% of the time, the Seahawks make the playoffs. They are genuine, legitimized competitors for winning the Super Bowl. If you get rid of Russell Wilson, you hitting a reset when you already close to reclaiming another title. It wouldn't make no sense. It'd be ludicrous.
It would be crazy to get rid of Russell Wilson. I don't give a damn what you're offering, because what you're offering is not going to return me a Russell Wilson. And as hard as it is to find a Deshaun Watson, it's even more difficult to find you a Russell Wilson. I remind people that these teams out here in present day are fully loaded with a beast at quarterback. Oh, don't believe me? Look at the Tampa Bay Bucks roster and then say, oh, and Tom Brady's there. The hell? Then you look at the Kansas City Chiefs roster and then you say, and Patrick Mahomes is there. Oh, let's look at the Buffalo Bills roster and now Josh Allen's in the building? Oh, no. Did you skip over Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, top 5 running back, top 5 receiver? So all those things said, I can't get rid of Russell Wilson. It's too damn hard to find a Russell Wilson. And he was a diamond in the rough. Like, it's easier to find Deshaun Watson, not just because Deshaun Watson is just that much different than Russell Wilson in performance, down a notch, but more so, he was drafted high. So guess what? When you draft high, there's a little less risk in that, even though it's still risky. But when you go in the 3rd round, Russell Wilson, you're like, all right, I hope this works. You're taking a flyer. Dak Prescott. You're taking a flyer. And Dak Prescott is Russell Wilson once he fully realizes who he is, because Russell Wilson is the dressed up version of Dak Prescott. So when you have that fall into your lap, you ain't letting that go. Russell Wilson set career highs last year. Completion percentage, passing touchdowns, total yards, and total touchdowns. All records for Russell Wilson. Why would I let him go? And do what? What are we going to get back in return? Some running backs and a lineman and a safety? Like, what the hell y'all talking about? That's not going to win us any games. We need a fully loaded roster. More importantly, we need that cherry on top, Russell Wilson.
So we reach for a lot of analogies during the course of this show. That's what I love about this show. It makes me work differently, think differently. Oftentimes we go to track analogies, but what I found in months now is the relational analogies actually make more sense. Like America, y'all get this. Sometimes, Marcellus, Wiley, and again, you know best, it makes more sense to break up at certain times. Say y'all live in the same city, one person moves. Like, if there was ever time to break up, now it's a little bit more convenient. You got a story?
Long distance is death.
Oh,
okay,
death.
Sorry.
Right, but like, it makes some sense. Right? You get a new head coach. You get a new general manager. Your other star player leaves, Houston Texans. It makes a little bit of sense to break up. But Russell Wilson, you and Pete Carroll, ain't nothing changed. Ain't literally nothing has changed. Same GM, same head coach. You can say the OC's changed, but that pales in comparison to GM and head coach. Let me put this in context for y'all, America. Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll, second all times amongst quarterbacks and coaches who haven't changed the team in wins. Second to Terry Bradshaw and Chuck Noll. They have 144 games started together and 98 wins together. That's amongst a quarterback and a coach when there was not a team change. So, Sal, it's like, y'all just get through this rough patch. Nobody changed cities. This isn't like an ideal time to break up. Nothing has changed. Y'all going through some beef right now. Let's squash it, and y'all just keep pushing forward.
I heard what you said in there, too. You think you slick. Try to compare it to Deshaun Watson without saying Deshaun Watson's name and think I didn't catch that. They are different. And there's some reasons why Russell's situation should be looked at in a more positive light than Deshaun's. I'll tell you why. Because Deshaun committed. He got married to a situation that was bad already. There wasn't a DeAndre Hopkins at the wedding, and he still was like, I do. And then you sit next to Bill O'Brien, and you're like, I do. With him? Okay. And then he leaves, and I thought that was supposed to be a good thing. And then Hopkins was never there, and I thought that was supposed to be a bad thing, and you still was at the altar saying, I do. Okay. Well, Russell Wilson's situation, you know I'm right. You know Russell Wilson sitting there like, well, they hit me a lot. I get sacked a lot by the offensive line. And I swear this has happened. When I was like at the top of my powers and I would say something in the media and then the general manager would pull me in or the head coach would pull me in because you make waves when you know, people listening to you. And it would be amazing how what I said all of a sudden would circle back and boomerang and coach would be like, chill on that. Russell Wilson going out there saying, 394 sacks. Yeah, I've been hit a lot. And I swear Pete Carroll had to say, come here, bro. Chill on that. Because you know the year we won the Super Bowl, we had the second highest pressure rating in the NFL. That means they were in your face all day. And then Russell, we went back to the Super Bowl and lost it because of you. And we had the highest pressure rating. Now we sitting there around 20. And you sitting there talking about the offensive line? Nah, they always been sorry. And they've been sorrier with better results. Russell, look in the mirror and let's fix this. Coming up, LeBron James does not want to hear about rest. That's right, Bron. We'll tell you if the Lakers are managing the Kings' time the right way. That's next on Speak for Yourself.
Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. The Lakers lost their third straight last night in overtime to the Wizards.
Say that.
LeBron James scored 31 points, but he also played over 40 minutes for the fourth time this month. LeBron has played the third most minutes in the league this season, and he's 36 years of age. But he dismissed any notion that he needs time off. Y'all take a listen.
I mean, I'm resting now. I'm sitting here talking to you guys. I'm resting when I get in my car and head home. I'm resting when I get home. I'll rest tomorrow. I think this whole narrative of, LeBron needs more rest, or I should take more rest, or I should take time here, has become a lot bigger than what it actually really is. I've never talked about it. I don't talk about it. I don't believe in it. We all need more rest.
I feel you, LeBron. I need more rest, too.
I'm going home right
now. We're joined by NBA analyst Slick Rick, my guy. But Marcellus, you up first. You worried about the Lakers and how they're managing LeBron James?
I am. a little concerned with that part because I don't think there's a proper calculation in how to play LeBron James through this rough patch without AD and without Schroeder. So that's the problem. It's like, how do you pace LeBron James? And let's just be real about this. LeBron James has mastered how to pace himself, even though giving the visuals a maximum effort, but really saving it for when he needs it most. Hey, this guy's just a genius. We know that. But he's also highlighting something that's interesting about all of us, that we're just conditioned beings. All of us are conditioned by different factors. And LeBron James mentally has conditioned himself to believe, I could go out there and ball till I fall, which is therapeutic and more so actually something that can help him in placebo effect. Just the fact that you think it, maybe it's going to be the reality. But physically, everyone's like, but sooner or later, he's got to slow down. He's 36. Sooner or later, I don't know when. They said that about Tom Brady about 5 years ago. Still waiting for him to slow down as well. Some guys are just different. So LeBron James, whatever he's doing in his own conditioning is working. I remind you, first, let's visualize. Carmelo Anthony, same draft class as LeBron James. And this is no shot at Carmelo. But LeBron has played 329 more games than Carmelo. Now, go back to that visualization. Look at Carmelo in your head and look at LeBron in your head.
Wearing the hood or no?
Carmelo, that dude, too. If you ever seen him in real life, he lean as hell. But the point is, LeBron James has figured this out, guys. And it's okay to let LeBron James do it his way. It does seem like he's borrowing some of his tomorrows to pay off today.
Don't do that.
But if there's anybody I would bet on that is going to give Father Time 12 rounds and got to go to the scorecards, it's the king, LeBron James.
Sal, I'm absolutely and thoroughly worried about the Lakers and how they're managing LeBron James. The job of a head coach is to protect a player from himself. That is the job of the head coach. LeBron James is not going to protect himself from himself. Listen to his post-game comments. I told you, I stayed up and watched him. He was like, I'm resting right now. LeBron, that ain't rest. Sitting at a podium, driving in your car is not rest. Rice, rest, ice, compression, elevation. That's rest. Kick back in the bed with your legs up. That is rest. So I can't trust LeBron James to protect himself because players are crazy. We're going to go as hard as we can. But more importantly, the body will fatigue before the mind does when talking about somebody like LeBron. That's why in Philadelphia, we used to do central nervous system tests when I was on the Eagles to check your central nervous system because you might think you're okay, but your body's not responding. I told y'all about this tired legs full screen. I'll say it to you again. January, LeBron James shot 43% from three. February, prior to AD getting hurt, LeBron James shot 24% from three. Then the last 5 games since AD has been injured, LeBron James is shooting 15% from three. To LeBron James, it might be a sheer coincidence, but to LeBron James's body, it is a direct correlation of fatigue. Somebody got to protect LeBron. And the head coach, Frank Vogel, he ain't doing it.
I am so amused by this idea. No, I'm not worried about the Lakers and how they're managing LeBron James because the Lakers do not manage LeBron James. LeBron James manages LeBron James. And am I worried about how he's doing it? Again, I could raise some concerns about he's trying to chase Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and he's trying to win MVP and he's trying to get another championship and he's trying to do all that with 2 of their 5 starters on the shelf. But the reality is the man spends more than $1 million a year on his body. He's gone to 10 NBA finals. He's played 18 seasons. And if anybody has ever demonstrated that they know how to gauge their energy and apply it when most important, it is LeBron James. He wasn't just resting at the podium. He wasn't just resting in his car. He was resting on that last possession when he was supposed to be guarding Russ Westbrook, and Westbrook inbounded it and then made a cut to the basket. So LeBron can play all the minutes that he wants. It's how hard he plays them is the question. And last night was a game, as was the game against the Warriors, where, I find this amazing that he's capable of this, but he decides when he's going to exert the utmost energy, when he's going to go to that extra gear. And every time I thought, I don't know if that gear's there anymore because of his age, he has once again demonstrated, no, it's there and I can go to it when I need to. I'm just going to pick and choose when I think it's most important. So I take issue with this idea that we're going to put this on Frank Vogel or the Lakers. There is no player more powerful than LeBron James. There is no player who decides what he's going to do and when he's going to do it more than LeBron James. If he didn't want to be playing the minutes that he's playing, then he wouldn't be playing them. I dare say he's doing it because he's making a case for MVP. And he has, in the past, over the last 8 years, not won MVP. And one of the reasons is because people say that he takes games off. That's why he's doing what he's doing.
But here's my issue, Slick. If you let an athlete, they will do whatever, even to their detriment. Remember before the NFL got serious about these concussions, players was going out there all types of wobbly and woozy and still going out there and playing. But we had to get independent, not even team neurologists, independent neurologists, because it's like, hey, we're going to look out for your best interest, NFL athlete, even when you won't look out for your own. That's what the Lakers need. Bron is going to play 40-plus games, Slick. Real quick, Slick. PG would have kept playing against the Nets if they would have let him. But somebody had to look out for him. Talk to me, Slick. Talk to me.
You, of all people, have always put LeBron in a different category.
Facts.
You can't give me comparisons of Paul George or NFL players or anybody else. Because LeBron uniquely has been the guy who has demonstrated that when we all question what's he doing, why is he doing it, he's come out on top as a result.
Let me go here, Slick. I'm going to bob that, and I'm going to throw one of my own. Remember, because who can we compare LeBron to? If nobody else, we can compare him to Tom Brady. Fair? If nobody else will compare him, that's fair. Now, remember what happened when Tom Brady played early on, and I don't know how much football you watch, but I'll tell you as I tell the audience who probably watched it. Remember what happened when Tom Brady played the Saints early on in the regular season, and they only ran the ball 4 times on a primetime game? They got molly-whopped. No disrespect to Tom Brady, he's still great, but you gotta rein in a great just so the great can accomplish greatness at times. Now, Tom Brady won his 7th Super Bowl. Who tweeted out very quickly the congratulations? LeBron James, who was also keeping in mind his peer. LeBron James probably wants to do that as well. But remember, Tom Brady, who LeBron is watching, he ain't do it on his own. In the playoffs, he ain't do it on his own. He didn't go out there and ball individually if you look at some of those categories. So LeBron James is going to need some help, just like Tom Brady got help. We make these great narratives of Tom Brady came in and did it on his own and Tom Brady... But that's not the case. In the same manner, that won't be the case for LeBron, Slick.
But you saw the game last night. Did LeBron take the ball to the rack every opportunity that he got? Absolutely not. He was distributing and he was not trying to dominate in the way that we know that he's capable of. He made an executive decision. I'm going to try to steal this game. I'm going to try to win this game, but I'm not going to go all out in attempting to do it. So I agree with you. Like, he has to be judicious, but he demonstrated to me last night that he has the discipline to do that, even if it ultimately costs him a game.
Man, this was an interesting conversation that really takes you to a place. And I love the choice word that you use, Slick Rick, comparison. And there are no comparisons when it comes to LeBron James, not even Tom Brady. I remind you guys, and I learned this the hard way being in the NFL, especially being around the late, great Junior Seau. There are just some people who are given the most, and then they will also give the most. And if you look at LeBron James, he just highlights that life's not fair. And I applaud that because nature tells you it's not fair. I don't care who you grab. My siblings, my kids, they're not the same. And then if it doesn't exist in nature, guess what? It's not going to exist in basketball either. LeBron is 6'8", 270. Given. Genetic lottery I hear a lot of times about LeBron. And LeBron should be like, you're damn right. Thank God. Thanks for my mom and dad. And more importantly, he gives like he didn't win that same genetic lottery. The investment in his body, the investment in his education. We're talking about his genetics, complemented by that education, complemented by his eating habits, complemented by how he invests in his body. Good Lord, there's no comparison. Not even Tom Brady, because Tom Brady didn't win the genetic lottery. So when we go there, y'all got to know this dude's mindset. He's like, what got me here is going to get me there. That's why he's sitting at a podium talking about, I ain't resting. You know why? Because he can't even convince himself that that rest will be beneficial to him, because what's gotten him here is not resting.
The other element here, and we constantly talk about what he's having to do without Anthony Davis. And we are undermining what Dennis Schroeder means in this category.
Say it again.
Remember what Rajon Rondo did for the Lakers last year as the second playmaker, how vital he was. Well, Dennis Schroeder has been that same thing. He's second on the team in assists. He finishes more at the rim, percentage-wise of his shots, than Anthony Davis does. And if there's one thing that they're missing, it is that playmaker, dribble penetrator that Alex Caruso cannot be, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope can't be, Montrezl Harrell. They don't have another guy like that. So I just feel as if once they get Schroeder back, and that is a COVID protocol thing, that you will see a difference in what they're able to do, and that in itself is going to relieve LeBron of some of the pressure. Look, what I've been told is he was looking to back down on the minutes. But then AD went down and Schroeder went down, and he didn't have a choice. I guarantee you, at some point before the end of the season, LeBron James will be ratcheting it back. But make no mistake, it will be LeBron James ratcheting it back.
Yeah, I mean, look, every team in the league is trying to beat the Lakers. They're the champions. Everybody's wanting to beat the Lakers, and LeBron James, you got to go through him to go get the crown. However, if you're betting that LeBron James is going to beat himself, if LeBron James is not going to manage this properly, you are going to come up futile in those efforts. Before we head to break, make sure to enter the Fox Bet Super 6 NBA contest for a chance to win $25,000. When you pick the outcomes of 6 of today's NBA games, you can download the app right now and play for free for your chance to win. Coming up, Cam Newton says there are not 32 quarterbacks that are better than him. You right. We'll tell you if he's underappreciated. That's next on Speak for Yourself. The latest on today's breaking news regarding Tiger Woods, who was injured this morning in a single car accident here in Los Angeles. Tiger's agent, Mark Steinberg, issued a statement saying the golf legend suffered multiple leg injuries and is currently in surgery. Tiger's injuries are non-life-threatening, according to the LA County Sheriff's Department. Our thoughts and prayers are with Tiger, and we wish him the best. Let's move to the NFL, where Cam Newton finished his first season with the Patriots with more interceptions than touchdown passes. Cam's lackluster year put the former MVP's future in question. But on our own Brandon Marshall's I Am Athlete podcast, Cam squashed any retirement talk, saying he cannot go out like that, adding, quote, "There's not 32 guys better than me." Fox NFL analyst Greg Jennings is with us, but I'm going to you, Acho. Is Cam Newton underappreciated?
Nah, he's not, big dog. And he is appreciated in the moment. We got to understand there's a difference between appreciation and respect. Appreciation fluctuates based upon what you have done for me, particularly what you have done for me lately, whereas respect is typically omnipresent. Cam Newton, he is respected, but he ain't appreciated always. I mean, Cam Newton had one of the worst seasons as far as being a quarterback passing the ball we've seen in NFL history, particularly in the last 20 years. So, Cam, this isn't necessarily the time to feel underappreciated. It's not even the time for us to say that Cam Newton is underappreciated because he's garnering the appreciation that he deserves. Let me take y'all back 2015. Y'all don't remember when Cam Newton had the whole world dabbing? Y'all remember when Cam Newton had the whole world hitting them boats? Like, Cam Newton had everybody and their mama dabbing. Cam Newton had everybody hitting them boats. So everybody at the time was appreciating Cam Newton because he was NFL MVP Cam Newton. Right now, he is fringe NFL starter Cam Newton, and he's getting the respect that he has earned, which isn't very much from a football perspective. The appreciation he's earned, which isn't very much from a football perspective.
Acho, I'm not going to say how much I like Cam Newton and all that. Everybody knows we do this all the time, Macho.
Yeah, y'all scared.
But no, he is not underappreciated for all those reasons. if you take me back to what you just said, what he used to do, he was valued. We applaud him. We do this with any and every player in our league, across the NBA, in sport.
Correct.
If you are performing at a high level, we applaud you. We put you on this high pedestal. We tell the world how great you are. But if you're not performing, then that means we have to take away from what we have been saying. It doesn't mean that you're not that if you can show me that you still are. But right now, Cam Newton hasn't done that. Last season, we can argue back and forth, but the stats don't lie. You can say, I can tell you every reason or excuse for Cam Newton that would allude to why he had the season that he had. And it wasn't productive enough for us to say that he is, yes, underappreciated. No, he's not. He's appreciated for what he's done. He was a great leader. Bill Belichick said that. I love his leadership skills. I love what he brought to the table, but it just wasn't enough. He left that part out because we want to act like 7-9 is the Patriot way. That's the standard. That's just not the case. It's not even what Cam Newton wants to do. So, like, let it be clear that he is what he is right now. Until he show us that he is that guy that he once was, he's what we saw last, and it's not good enough.
Man, here we go. Cam Newton is properly appreciated. Oh, man, in a world that we live in, especially the sports world, where it's supposed to be a meritocracy, guess what you are, Cam? You are what your opportunities say you are. Man, in this world today, especially in football, you better go out there and remove all doubt, or else they're going to be on your head. And there is a way to remove all doubt. Ball out. Simple as that. Woo! Man, I used to be a crumb in the NFL. Like, man, get out the way, Wiley. And then I used to be like, let me get out the way because here comes Wiley. And then I went back to, man, get out the way, Wiley. But the point is, it was all related and correlated to how I was performing. Just that simple. And this is something that happens in life all the time, that people really want to go out there and act like they're greater than they are. But I check life receipts. You can say whatever you want to me, but did you accomplish your goals? And right now, Cam Newton can't even say last year he accomplished his goals. Yeah, he stayed healthy, minus the COVID departure for a game. But the point is, it wasn't Cam Newton. So a lot of times when life gets complicated, I look at nature, Mother Nature, because Mother Nature simplifies it all for us. A lot of times you read books about the difference between us as human beings and those animals in the wild, and they boil it down to these simplistic terms. They say the only difference between a human and an animal in the wild is our communication skills and the fact that we have a conscience. Like, we actually can think that we are something, and they don't necessarily. Why do I bring that up? Because, boy, Cam, you got to look at this like nature, man. There are animals that survive and thrive and change their colors, change their ways, change their style, do everything they can do just to live, let alone do something. Cam, it's time for you to change them colors, brother. It's time for you to change them ways. Because right now, you're on the borderline of surviving, but you're definitely not thriving.
You are absolutely right. He's on the borderline of surviving. And when you think about, when people talk about, I'm not this, or like Cam just said, I'm not 32. That's not 32 better than me. Well, show me. Because if I was confident in saying I'm not 1 or I'm not 2, that means I'm close to the top. You even coming out of your own mouth and saying I'm not 32. Well, we know what you don't think you are. You're not that guy that's on the upper echelon of things anymore. So what you provided me is telling me that, you on the back end, you at that 30, 32 area. And I'm going to tell you, this is what I've always said to myself about being disrespected. If I ever felt like I was being disrespected, it's either something that I have done or something that I haven't done that gave somebody the right to feel like they could disrespect me. So at the end of the day, I got to look at me. Cam got to look at him and reevaluate what those goals really are and can I really meet them and get myself to the top echelon as he once was in his career.
Yeah, man. It's a moment of clarity. It's a moment of truth for Cam Newton. He got to be greater than his greatest excuse right now. And look, like you said, whenever you got to get into storybook form about your career, because it's really simple when you balling. Matter of fact, if Aaron Donald walked in here right now, you ain't got to say a word. You're like, ah. Now, if Cam Newton walking here right now, you're like, you start sizing him up a little different. Like, is he limping? Is he still the same? Oh, no. And look, I respect and revere Cam Newton, but you put yourself in this position right here. So we've all been there through the highs and through the lows. And when you find Cam Newton in conversations around people that he doesn't want to be in company in because they're not that good a player, Cam, you put yourself in that position, and that's sad. But there's a moment of truth that he can resurrect from. Just be greater than your greatest excuse. Coming up, Deshaun Watson wants out, but Houston is holding on. Yes, they are. We'll tell you if we like the Texans playing hardball with their quarterback's trade demand. That's next on Speak for Yourself.
Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. The Texans are not budging despite Deshaun Watson's trade demand per Peter King's report. GM Nick Caserio is, quote, categorically opposed to trading Watson, period. King added at least 2 teams have made trade offers for Deshaun Watson, but the Texans have given them 0 feedback. Greg Jennings, our guy, former Super Bowl champion, is back with us. But Marcellus, you like the Texans playing hardball with Deshaun Watson's trade demand?
I do. Because they're wearing their emotions on their sleeve. Like, right now, they're in love with Deshaun Watson. And who wouldn't be in love with Deshaun Watson on and off the field? Like, stop. They gave him a $156 million extension. He's the second highest paid player in the NFL with 1 playoff win. And that's not a shot. That's just letting you know how much they think of him. Because most guys, you got to go out there and win a Super Bowl. And even then, they're taking shots at you, not trying to give you your money. I remind y'all, the NFL stands for not for long. I remind y'all that most players are saying, when they going to give me my money? And Deshaun didn't have to ask that question. He earned his way into getting his money and getting it early. That said, now this franchise is looking at you sideways. They're like, why the change of heart? I understand you may have been sitting on rocks, as they say. Like, all these issues were piling up, and you're sitting there, and you're being uncomfortable. And you're like, Bill O'Brien's a bad GM. Oh, Hopkins is gone. All that. But you committed to that situation. So with the change of heart, makes you doubt even what you're saying right now, Deshaun Watson. September, you were in love with this franchise. February, you're not. Let's just wait. Let's just see if this can simmer down and Deshaun Watson can come to his senses if you're Cal McNair and the Houston Texans. I remind you, Cal McNair is not in the business to let Deshaun Watson hurt him. You need my help to hurt me? It's not going to happen on my watch. That's what Cal McNair is thinking right now. So I like them playing hardball, at least in this moment.
Sal, this may sound bad, but I got to clarify it for you since you didn't hear me the first time. Deshaun Watson is kind of like a gold digger. He wasn't in love with the franchise. He was in love with the money. Okay? he was in love with the money, Sal. He was in love with the Texans. He loved what the Texans could give him. You've been there. You've been engaged 4 times.
But I wasn't a digger.
They didn't love
I was that.
Exactly. They was there for the bread. And eventually you saw that.
Enigma.
And that's why y'all parted ways. So again, Deshaun Watson, why is he actually there? That's the first thing. But I will say this. The Texans, I love them playing hardball with Deshaun. Not because they shouldn't eventually concede, but because you can't look like a pushover. New head coach, new general manager. Y'all are establishing a culture. Everyone is watching how you treat Deshaun. Because what you let Deshaun get away with, they're going to try to get away with too. So if you see your fearless leader getting away with demanding a trade and being gone, then what's going to happen when you have another leader here in a few years? What's going to happen when you draft a player, maybe in the first round? Deshaun Watson forced his way out pretty easily. Well, I'm just going to force my way out fairly easily. So I love the Texans playing hardball for that reason. Exactly. Eventually, should they concede? Absolutely, because I don't want a disgruntled quarterback on my roster. That doesn't serve me as the Texans, and that doesn't serve him. But the whole room is watching how the Texans play this out. They should definitely at least look tough, even if they're not.
Yeah, I'm with both of you guys. I don't mind the Texans playing hardball right now with Deshaun Watson. Number one, it's because it's Deshaun Watson. Like, if I'm the owner, if I'm McNair in his shoes, I'm not letting D. Watson just walk away just on his own accord and just get what he wants. And no, because what I want is you. I've seen what you can provide us. I don't want to have to go through this quarterback carousel of trying to find your replacement. Look, do we even know, and this is no disrespect, who's the second guy in behind Deshaun Watson on that roster at that quarterback depth chart?
AJ McCarron.
Most people, AJ McCarron, but most people don't even know that if you're not a Texans fan.
Nope.
Like, so when you look at that, you're not trying to move forward with that on your roster and then try to find something that you can implement before you find your future. You got it. It's in your face. And I got a new GM, a new head coach. Look, their job now, as McNair is the owner, is to, look, do whatever you can to let him know that we are all in. I don't care what you guys have to say and do. I'm with you. I'm supporting. But we need him if we're going to turn this franchise around. And we already have him. We don't have to go and find him. He is ours. Why would we just let him go? That's not how business is done when you have the most valuable piece in your possession.
Say it again, big dog. I mean, whoo, it's interesting. Now, this is going to sound like a shot, and it's not a shot, but Acho took me here. Listen to this definition right here. Someone who is compromising their integrity, morality, authenticity, principles in exchange for personal gain like money. Yeah, that's what Acho just told me, that he wasn't in love with this organization. He just took the compromise for the money. You know, that's the definition of selling out. Now, Deshaun Watson is not a sellout. However, who hasn't looked at the money in an opportunity before and said, yeah, I can deal with that? Well, Deshaun, you got the money, now you got to deal with it. That's this conversation right here. He married an organization and went to the altar when Bill O'Brien was his best man, and DeAndre Hopkins was like, dog, I can't even make your wedding. And he still was marrying this organization. Woo, Deshaun, I get it. I play in the league, you got to get your dough. But, bro, when you get your dough, it comes at a cost. I wish I would walk upstairs to the Fox executives and say, you know what? I know you're paying me handsomely. Look at me. And then you know what? I signed on the dotted line to do 5 shows a week. But you know what? I'd rather just stay at the crib. I'd rather do a podcast at the crib. You know what? Keep them checks coming, but I ain't coming in. That doesn't work in the real world. I am married, happily married to Anna Marie, but if anyone knows about being happily married, that means y'all gonna have some issues here and there. And every time we get into a little spat, I'm like, damn it, why am I married and stuck here? And then I was like, oh yeah, calm down, you're in love with her. And then I start to venture, my mind starts to wander. I say,
on Instagram?
Hell, hey, boy, that's all day, any day, even when we good. I'll stay on the gram. No, I'm saying here, Greg, he's so stupid. When you're in these moments of contention, you start to think, I'll go out. No, I ain't going out. Man, forget this. Nah, ain't nobody like Anna Marie. And then I really get down and calm down. I say, you know why I'm never leaving my wife? Because there ain't another woman out there in this world that's not only going to be who my wife is, but be better. If I'm the Houston Texans, you're not only going to have an impossible time finding the Deshaun Watson, but dare you try to find someone that's better than Deshaun Watson. Trust me, they know that ain't happening.
But Big Dog Sale, it takes 2 to tango, senor. Come on, Sale. Just because the Texans love Deshaun and can't find nobody better. On the flip side,
$156 million.
Deshaun is like, man,
what?
Them other teams look kind of good. Ooh, the Cowboys, what's up with them?
Hey, man, you married.
They still committed?
That's Anna Marie. Stay with her.
So just because the Texans in love, I understand that Deshaun isn't. And he's not at all.
What, are you going to get an annulment in 4 months? You just got married.
Look, Big Dog, all I know is this. Would you rather sit here in some contention? Because as we know, there are irreconcilable differences in Houston. And when they irreconcilable differences, how does it always end?
Think about the kids. Come on, man.
Coming up, Carson Wentz. He wore number 11 for my Eagles. That's in Philly for 5 years. But we'll tell you if he should be able to keep that number with the Colts. Oh, he's getting some pushback. You think? That's next. Speak for yourself.
Tonight, Big Ten Hoops returns to FS1 as number 5. Illinois continues their quest for a conference title as they face off with Michigan State. Go Sparty. Tonight at 7 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Welcome back. Carson Wentz is moving on from the Eagles to the Colts, but he also might have to move on with a different jersey number. Michael Pittman Jr. just finished his first season, but he wears number 11, and he's not giving it up. Wow. Wentz's new wide receiver said he talked to Wentz, but he told the former Eagle he was, quote, locked in on keeping it. So, Acho, should Michael Pittman give your boy Carson Wentz back his number 11?
The short answer is yes.
Yes?
Yeah, because Sal, like, you Michael Pittman Jr., second-round pick, right? Shout out to you, USC kid, right? You think he's a USC
Yeah, he
cat?
went to SC.
USC cat, baller in college.
Yeah.
500 yards, third leading receiver on the team, second-round pick. Carson Wentz is coming in, has been on a Super Bowl, in case you want to say he didn't win it.
Wearing what? What Nike suit he was wearing?
So, what I'm going to get to, because for the sake of time, I'm going to get to the real crux of the issue.
Yeah,
The crux of the issue isn't should or shouldn't Michael Pittman give it to Carson Wentz.
That's a good question.
The crux of the issue is, if he doesn't, what's it mean? Like, to not give your quarterback the number that he wants, it's a lack of reverence to me, right? That means that, like, he's not that good to me. If Cam Newton goes into an organization, Cam is getting number one. Because you revere Cam Newton, regardless of how good or bad he is right now, you revere Cam Newton, so he getting the jersey number that he wants. But if you, Carson Wentz, and you, Michael Pittman, you aren't anybody in the NFL yet. You may be, but right now you aren't yet anybody. And you're not going to give that number to Carson Wentz. That means you look at Carson Wentz just like you. And the fact of the matter is, there's going to be a disconnect there because this new quarterback coming in should get a little bit more reverence than he's getting.
Nah, we just talked about Cam Newton, that you are what your opportunities say you are, Cam Newton. Well, Carson Wentz, guess what? Game recognized game. Hey, crumb, you ain't getting my
crumb.
Yeah. That's what, look, don't take my word for it. Take Michael Pittman Jr.'s actions for it. I've been in this situation too many times. When you walk in and you that Don Dada, boy, you ain't even got to say nothing. You just look at him like, that was cute on you. And how about this? First day of every training camp, you walk in, and there's always some rookie thinking he going to get the best seat, got his little apple for coach, and I'm going to sit here. And then some big old dude, some D-tackle in his 9th year, sit there, get up. And you're like, okay, that's another grown man, 9 years junior to him, that's still like, yes, I know who you are. Michael Pittman looking at him like, you are no better than me, Carson Wentz. And this is really funny. Michael Pittman ain't even in love with the number. He wore number 6 in college. He wore number 86, and now he's on 11. Now he act like he love it. You know why he act like he love it? Because he ain't got no love for Carson Wentz. It's amazing that Carson Wentz doesn't command attention. It's amazing that, once again, someone is looking at him like you can't get right. Oh, is this the same Carson Wentz that lost his locker room once? Oh, no, he lost it twice in Philly. Is this the same Carson Wentz that has to look at a statue of his backup when he was playing in Philly? And then he's like, look, I'm out of here. I'm going to greener pastures. I'm going to Indy. And as soon as he land off the plane, everywhere you go, there you are. They sunning him again. He ain't even took a snap
But
yet.
you know how it goes, big dog. Sometimes these cats, they speak out of turn. Right? I've been in locker rooms before. I'm sure you have. A dude think, nah, this is my number. This is going to be my number. I'm wearing this one. They don't even ask you. The equipment manager is just like, hey,
swap.
This shows me number.
That is true.
Now, Michael Pittman was a second-round pick. Michael Pittman, second-round pick to the Colts. So I'm sure they're going to treat him with a little bit more respect. But make no mistake about it. Like, the Colts gave up a third-round pick and a second, potentially first-round pick.
That ain't much.
For Carson. A first and a third is more than Michael Pittman.
Hold on, you just went it's a second and a third. It could be a lot of things if it was a fifth.
Okay,
how about
a second and a third is more than a second.
What? This is the funniest part about it all. First of all, Carson Wentz, his peers don't respect him like we do. We got more love for him than his peers.
That actually is true.
NFL Top 100, they were like, get that dude off it. And that was before last year. Look at this. Michael, this is why Carson Wentz he different, dog. I don't know how I don't understand this dude. He calls Michael Pittman Jr., hey, bruh. And Michael Pittman's like, oh, welcome to the team. We got to get some reps in, get some catches in. He's like, oh, no, before we get to that, I want that number. I want them double ones. Let me get that. He's like, nah, I'm locked in. And then he was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I was thinking about changing it anyway. What the hell you called me for if you were thinking about changing your number, you liar? He gonna lose another locker room, dog. This makes no sense.
But here's the thing, Zell. If you Michael Pittman, you also got to weigh your decisions. Remember that who dictates Michael Pittman's success? Him, not Frank Wright. No, not Michael Pittman.
Who?
Carson Wentz.
Man,
the dude
stop.
throwing him the ball.
Man,
The dude
stop.
throwing him. Every time if I'm Carson Wentz, I'll be like, oh, he's still in that number 11. Goes to T.Y. Hilton.
He a free
He's still
agent.
in that number.
He might be gone.
He gonna be back. Oh, he's still in that number 11. Oh, let me go ahead and hand it off to Jonathan Taylor. Throw the check down at least. Nah, Michael Pittman, calculate your decisions, big bro. I don't know if keeping that number is worth it. Coming up,
I hear that.
the Lakers are struggling, and Uncle Jimmy is not letting LeBron off the hook. You don't want to miss this one. That's next. Speak for yourself.
Before we go, Uncle Jimmy joins us. The Lakers lost their third straight game last night. So, Uncle, here you have a message for LeBron James. Let's hear it.
Hey, man. LeBron James is what you would call an old soul.
All right.
Old people say that he looks like he's been here before. Okay? And what that means is that, unlike Tom Brady, LeBron James actually looks older than what he really is. And I'm here to tell y'all something, man. LeBron James hates that. Now, I don't know if it's true or not, but Christian McCoy swears up and down that he graduated in the same class as LeBron James. Hey, man, LeBron James, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but that man ain't nothing but 36 years old. And that's about 122 in dog years. That's why LeBron James is starting to look like an old-ass Doberman Pinscher. They say that you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but you can introduce him to some. LeBron James is just out here all by himself, looking like an old-ass dog.
Whatever. Live is next. What the hell are you talking about?